So first of all, welcome students to this session on fixed income. And I'm super excited to start this session on fixed income. Now for today's discussion, there are three parts to this live session. For today's discussion, there are three parts. The first is a brief introduction about myself. Okay. The second is the logistic for the fixed income that you see on the screen. And the third is the roadmap for the fixed income, as in what topic we'll cover and what topic we'll cover in which week. Okay. So, first of all, I'll start with a brief introduction about myself. As you can see the name on the screen, my name is Saurabh Sinha. So, in simple term, if I say I'm a risk manager across fixed income, equity, and trading business. Uh, Now, from the passion front, the only real passion that I can say I have is teaching, and that's why I'm teaching today itself. I teach different topics related to finance, along with few other subject outside finance. If you are watching my channel, that you might be aware that I teach AI, LLM models, agentic AI, Python, which are not relevant for today's discussion. And I'm teaching CFA and FRM since 2011, so roughly near about 15 years. So this is little about who I am. Now let's directly jump into the logistic and the structure of this session, as in the session that will cover. See, first of all, I'm trying to cover like as a 9 question today. So the first question is, who is this session for? As in, who can join this session and who cannot. So this session is for anyone preparing for FRM Part 1, anyone preparing for CFA Level 1, or anyone who wants to start their journey in finance with zero background in finance, or anyone who enjoy finance like me. Okay. So if you are just thinking of sitting for or appearing for any one of the examination, whether it is CFA Level 1, FRM Part 1, then you can definitely pursue this series. Even if you're preparing for CFL level 2 or CFL level 3, as an also FRM part 2, because these session will still help you significantly, because most of the analytics, most of the topic discussed and tested in CFL level 2, FRM part 2, CFL level 3 are fundamentally built on the concept of FRM part 1 and CFL level 1, fixed income. Now the second question is, which I think a lot of students would have, is that do I need to study? Do I need to study anything on my own before or after the session? The answer to this question is no, you do not need to study anything separately before attending the session. In fact, for the next 1 month, I would strongly recommend that you do not follow multiple books, multiple faculties, multiple YouTube channels, or any unnecessary suggestion from friends or senior. This is important, and this is really important. So if you're following one faculty or one institute, stick to that process at least for 1 month consistently. And if you try to like take the approach of different faculty or different institute, you will not reach your desired destination, right? So focus on the advice of one faculty. Otherwise, you will feel more distracted, more confused. I hope you got the point. So this is important, that you should not be preparing from any book, any institute for fixed income if you are trying to pursue this series. And you don't have to study anything. So there is no prerequisite. What matter is consistency and focus, rather than collecting material, advice, and suggestion from different places. Okay, so trust the process for 1 month and you will see the difference. Now let's talk about the prerequisite and the background. So you do not need any prior knowledge. We'll start from the absolute basic, literally from the zeroth level. Even if you have just completed plus two, because you can sit for FRM if you have completed your plus two, rest will make sure that the concepts are easy for you to grasp and understand. And whether you're from engineering, whether you're from IT, commerce, finance, or completely non-finance background, doesn't matter. It does not matter, right? So it's our responsibility to make any complex topic easy for you. It's not yours. So you do not need to worry about whether you are capable of understanding any advanced topic in finance. That's not your concern. That's our responsibility. That is our job as a teacher. So we'll break down difficult concepts for you, which in a very intuitive and simple way. So understanding is guaranteed. Okay. So you don't have to study anything. The only thing that you need is BA2 plus calculator. How many of you are aware of BA2 plus calculator? Can you chat? Only one. Okay. Okay. So this is important. So if you're sitting for CFA Level 1, FRM Part 1, or any professional finance certification, the only calculator that is allowed in examination is BA2 plus calculator. No other calculator is allowed. Let me show you. So this is the BA2 plus calculator. This is the professional one, and the other one is the student one. Now, if you don't want to buy and you just want to use and learn the BA2 plus calculator, then the suggestion is that how many of you have those who have said no? How many of you have Android device, as in Android phone? Okay, so you can just simply go to App Store or Google App Store, and you can search for BA2 plus calculator. So it is free of cost, and you can download and you can start using BA2 plus calculator. Perfect. So BA2 plus calculator is the only prerequisite. You don't have to study anything. You don't have to learn anything. It's clear? Perfect. Okay. I hope that is clear. Perfect. Now let's discuss the duration and the structure of the session. Now this is going to be 1 month dedicated fixed income program, completely focused on fixed income only. Each session will typically runs around 30 minutes to 45 minutes. In some days, it can go up to 1 hour depending upon the topic in hand. And I'll definitely inform you if that is going to be a lengthy session because these are midnight sessions. So this sprint would be shorter. And around 20 to 30 minutes of that 30 to 45 minutes, 20 to 30 minutes, I will be discussing about single critical concept. So one day, one critical concept. And the remaining 15 minutes will be for doubt solving, discussion, and question practice. Okay. So the pattern is building block study, one day, one concept. Okay. And the session will commence every day at 11:30 p.m. Indian Standard Time except on Saturday. Saturday will not conduct the session. Saturday will have 101 session if you have scheduled your session with the SOFA team. Okay. Now coming to the curriculum coverage. Now this is not important. This section is not important right now, but still I'm discussing because if you have books and if you still want to like refer to what we'll cover in this session, so for FRM part 1 student will cover book 3 reading 40, 41, 42, 43, book 4 reading 48, 53, 54, 55, 56 and 57. For CFA level 1 will cover near about 18 readings, yeah, 49 to 67. And most importantly, CFA and FRM fixed income are like 95%, not even 90%, 95% identical. There's a huge overlap. So you don't have to worry about whether you're preparing for CFA level 1 or FRM part 1. Okay. So a very substantial portion of the curriculum will be covered through these session for 1 month. However, once again, I strongly recommend that you do not start reading the book immediately unless I specifically ask you to read a particular reading. Why I'm saying this? Listen very carefully. Because honestly speaking, both CFA Institute and GARP, both of them, have not structured fixed income curriculum in a student friendly way. So what they have done, and specifically GARP one, so what they have done, they have copied pasted most of the topic from the most renowned writers, authors, books, and they just copied pasted it in a way that they want to just inform you about a topic. So they don't want to teach you, they want to inform you about the topic. So that's why most of the topic that you see in FRM curriculum, you will feel that they have written it in a very haphazard manner. So reading one does not naturally connect to reading two. Reading two will not naturally connect to reading three. You will feel this. And how many of you have felt this already? If you have started reading book three and book four, none? Okay. And that is the problem. And that is a significant problem in FRM. Yes, CFA has done not a good job in fixed income, but most of other topics like derivatives, like quantitative analysis are very much structured. But in FRM, most of the topic are completely haphazardly written. So you will see one place they were talking about binomial tree and then they will talk about fixed income. Completely haphazardly written. So that is the problem with FRM, significant problem. So that's why do not read the book until I suggest you to read the book. So, uh, so please trust the process. We'll first build the concept and then read the book. Okay. Now let's discuss the expectation from the students. I also have some expectation from you all. So my first expectation My first expectation is consistency. See, if I'm working for 10 to 12 hours in office, completely not related to education sector, traveling back and still taking late night session for you, then I can reasonably expect the same level of discipline and commitment from you all, from my students, to attend the live session regularly, right? That is the bare minimum expectation. Sir, I'm not well, cannot attend the session. Sir, today I have to attend my birthday party, cannot attend the session. Sir, this, sir, that. Do you think any excuse will be justified if you truly want to crack an examination like FRM? Because to become the best in finance domain, you need to do some sacrifices, right? And FRM, please mark my word, FRM, I'm not like overselling this. FRM is the most complex curriculum on the planet right now in finance. Yeah, I can prove it. I can bet on it. It is the most complex curriculum on the planet. Those who are FRM chartered holder cannot answer properly what is written in the FRM Part 2 curriculum and even FRM Part 1 curriculum. It's that complex. I'm not talking about the competition. I'm talking about the complexity level. I'm talking about the understanding level. So a bare minimum consistency is required. Okay, cool. Expecting every day to be the part of the live session for the next 1 month, except Saturday. Yes, no? Perfect. Thank you. See, my second expectation with my student is to follow class decorum and discipline. I want to mention this very clearly and very subtly because something are not to be spoken loudly. I will be teaching this session. I will also try to invite subject matter expert, professionals, veterans, so you get a sense that why you are studying this, why you're studying concepts like duration, convexity, and fixed income. Is there any use? So I would be calling different veterans, subject matter experts from the organization like Citibank, PwC, HSBC, right? And all of them are joining these sessions because they have the passion to teach and help students. And most of them are my students as well. And also remember, SOFA stands for what? If you know the full form of SOFA, if you not, that's fine. This institute name is SOFA. It stands for School of Financial Analysis and Research. This is not an institute. This is a school. The culture we follow here is the discipline and the respect of a school environment, right? So therefore, please respect the visitor. Please respect, definitely there would be one more faculty who would be helping you all. So respect your faculty. And the most important part, respect your friends and the peers in this forum. Respect the classroom environment because we'll soon start a chat group discussion forum between you all. So you all have to be have like that cordial relationship between you all. So please don't have any unwanted behavior. Just don't like to showcase any unwanted behavior in the groups in the chat room. This will lead to removal. And it is fine that you, if you do not want to follow any decorum, that's fine. But you should have the maturity that I'm also not comfortable with your behavior in my classroom. So I have to let you go. Okay. So I want true students here, those who want to study, those who want to learn. Now, regarding the doubts and discussions, these two sections. See, these sessions are exclusively dedicated to fixed income. So please ask doubts related only to fixed income topic and that discussion of that day. Avoid any unrelated discussion. For example, do not ask quantitative analysis doubts during fixed income or derivative doubts during fixed income. Do not ask career related question during the concept building exercise, right? However, this does not mean your questions are not important for me. Yes, they are. I'm not saying that. We'll separately schedule a dedicated interaction session, 101 session, career guidance sessions whenever required. And that will happen on Saturday. That's why Saturday there won't be any live session. Okay. But during the live classroom sessions, let's remain focused and disciplined towards the topic being taught that day. That's all. And the last point, we have created a WhatsApp group, but that group is just a broadcasting group. Soon we'll create a discussion forum between you all, and I need one representative from you all who can act like a class representative or class monitor because there would be a lot of documents, a lot of like materials to be distributed. So I want one point of contact. So any volunteer there, anyone, any volunteer as a class representative? Thanks, Purav. Cool. Okay. With that, we'll jump into, thanks, Purav. We'll jump into the roadmap for fixed income. Any doubts so far? Logistics are crystal clear. Cool. Perfect. Okay. How many of you have heard the word fixed income? Anyone have heard? Perfect. Okay. Why not floating income? Why fixed income? Okay. So, so what happened that when people were trying to classify different topics of finance, instead of calling it fixed income or floating income, because in fixed income there are different instruments. You also have floating income instrument. They just named it like fixed income. It's not that fixed income is related to fixed income. No, we have multiple topics to discuss in fixed income, right? We will discuss about floating rate notes. We'll discuss about floating rate bonds, right? So fixed income itself doesn't have like a clear meaning. But still, when people were categorizing the finance topics like derivative and all, Anisha, you're too late. Uh, we are about to close the session. We just discussed about the logistic. Now we are moving into the roadmap for fixed income. Okay, so we're talking about why fixed income, why the name fixed income. So actually, fixed income is like completely irrelevant name given to a topic. In fixed income, you have to understand fixed income instrument. In fixed income, you have to understand floating rate instrument. You have to understand different instrument. You have to understand structured product that has nothing to do with fixed income. It doesn't have fixed cash flows. So the nomenclature of fixed income is not greatly supported, but you can understand fixed income has different topics to discuss. So how will start? What would be the roadmap of our discussion? If you read any book, they will start the discussion with the theories of fixed income. We'll not do that. We'll jump directly into the numerical. We'll jump directly into the valuation of fixed income. That's it. No beating around the bush. We'll jump into the valuation. Complex doesn't matter. That's my responsibility to make it simple. So we'll understand the valuation of fixed income. When I say valuation of fixed income, it simply means what is the price of that fixed income instrument in the market. And to be precise, what is the should be price of the fixed income instrument in the market? Should be price. So we'll jump valuation. Valuation is completely numerical. Why we're doing this? We're taking this approach. The reason is once you start playing with the numbers on any financial instrument, you'll get a confidence. And that's what I want. I want you to feel that confidence in fixed income instrument as soon as possible. Once we have discussed about the valuation, which will start from tomorrow, we'll start with that how can you do the valuation with the help of bond characteristics. Okay. Now, because the valuation of fixed income is heavily dependent upon interest rate, we have to know the game of interest rate, the nomenclature of interest rate. What is discounting? What is compounding? What is continuous compounding interest rate? What is effective interest rate? Blah, 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 blah. And because the valuation, the price of fixed income instrument is heavily dependent upon interest rate, there is a risk associated to the change in the interest rate. So we'll talk about the interest rate risk. We'll talk about the concepts of sensitivity. We'll talk about duration. We'll talk about convexity. These are complex discussion. Most of the students who have actually not my students, but most of the time when I take interviews, it happens that even they are FRM chartered holders. They're not able to answer simple questions on duration and convexity. They are not. And that is the brutal truth. Okay. We'll discuss about duration convexity. We'll discuss about the price yield curve. Just we'll take the question in like few seconds. Okay, valuation. Then we'll enter into interest rate risk. And because we are talking about interest rate, we'll talk about what are the shape and the curvature of interest rate. So the interest rate could be upward sloping. The interest rate could be flat. The interest rate could be downward sloping. The interest rate can change. What is the shift in the interest rate? Is it a butterfly shift? What kind of a shift it is? So we'll try to study that. Once we cover all these, then we'll enter into credit risk. Because if you know that fixed income is very near to loan agreement, and what happens in loan? There is a credit risk. There is a risk of default. The risk of default in the principal, the risk of default in the interest. The same way in the fixed income instrument, there is a risk of default. And because of that risk of default, we have to understand that if risk is high, what will happen? What will happen to the value and the price of fixed income instrument, the price in the market? So we'll study the credit risk. We'll study the spread duration related to credit risk. We'll study the concept like credit spread. We'll study the concept like probability of default and loss given default. I know I'm giving a lot of jargons here, but I'm just giving you the roadmap. Valuation, interest rate risk, term structure, credit risk, connecting to valuation. And they are all connected. Okay. Once we have covered, once we have covered these concepts, we'll enter into difficult instruments like what if I combine fixed income with optionality as in derivative product? It will become a callable bond or a puttable bond, a callable fixed income, a puttable fixed income, another jargon, but I have to speak those language. So what will happen to the valuation? What will happen to the duration and convexity of a callable and a puttable bond? And then we'll enter into the structured product, MBS, RMBS, CMBS, and there we'll study prepayment risk. And in the prepayment risk, we'll understand two different kind of risk. Okay, perfect. Is it clear? The whole roadmap is clear to you all. Okay. Is it making sense? Anyone is not clear? Like I am seeing a lot of people not responding. Parth, Nitesh, Anisha, Ashlyn, are you all comfortable with the roadmap? Okay, perfect. Okay, so from tomorrow onwards, we'll start with what? Valuation of fixed income, right? And there we'll start with a topic how bond characteristics will help you to project, not project, actually calculate the cash inflow. We'll discuss about it in detail, but that is going to be the discussion for tomorrow. Okay, so here I'll end the session. Thank you. Have a nice day. But any doubts before I end? Related to fixed income? Yes, please ask. There is one student who is joining right now. Dildora, we have just ended the session for today. Okay, so we discussed what is the roadmap for fixed income. We discussed about what topics we'll cover. We discussed about what is the logistic of the sessions, so on and so forth. So because you joined late, what I'll do, I'll post the recording on the WhatsApp group. Okay, cool. Yeah, okay, cool. Thank you. Have a nice day. We'll meet tomorrow, same time.